Michael Chen had been driving for hours when he first saw the old farmhouse at the end of Meadowbrook Road. His daughter, Emma, was starting college in 3 months, and the medical bills from his late wife's illness had drained everything they had. The farmhouse was listed for almost nothing because it sat abandoned for nearly a decade. Michael made an offer that same afternoon. The property needed serious work, but he had saved just enough to buy it and spend 6 weeks making basic repairs before flipping it for a profit. That money would cover Emma's first-year tuition. He signed the papers on a Monday and planned to return the following Saturday with his tools. Life got complicated, though. Emma caught a bad flu and Michael couldn't leave her alone. Then his truck needed emergency repairs. Then his boss asked him to cover extra shifts. 5 weeks passed before Michael could finally make the drive back to Meadowbrook. He arrived on a bright Sunday morning with sandwiches and a thermos of coffee, but as he turned onto the long dirt road leading to his property, he saw something that made his heart stop. Smoke was rising from the chimney. Someone was living in his house. Michael parked carefully and approached the front door before he could knock. 3 young women stepped out onto the porch. They looked like sisters. All 3 had long blonde hair pulled back neatly and wore matching white shirts. The oldest looked to be in her mid-20s. She stepped forward with her hands clasped nervously. "I'm Sarah, and these are my sisters." Rebecca and Jennifer. Michael stood frozen. "We know this is your property, sir. We saw the sale notice at the county office." Sarah's voice was steady, but her eyes showed fear. "We're so sorry. We had nowhere else to go." Michael took a breath. He had every right to call the sheriff. Instead, he heard himself say, "How long have you been here?" 3 weeks, Sarah answered. "We lost our family farm 6 months ago after our parents passed. We've been moving from place to place trying to find work. When we saw this house was empty, we just needed somewhere safe to sleep." Jennifer, the youngest, spoke up. "We didn't break anything. We've been fixing things, actually." Rebecca nodded toward the barn. "We repaired the fence posts and cleaned out the old stable. We found some tools in the shed." Michael walked around the property with the 3 sisters following at a respectful distance. The fence that had been falling down was now straight and sturdy. The barn doors that hung crooked were rehung properly. The overgrown garden had been cleared and freshly planted. Someone had even patched the worst holes in the roof. "You did all this in 3 weeks. Sarah nodded. "We worked every day. We thought if we improved the property, maybe whoever bought it wouldn't be too angry when they found us." Michael rubbed his face. He thought about Emma and how scared she would be if she had nowhere safe to live. He thought about his late wife, Maria, and what she would tell him to do. "I bought this place to fix it." "Up and sell it," Michael said. "I need the money for my daughter's college." The 3 sisters nodded solemnly. "We understand," Sarah said. "We'll leave today." Michael looked at the house, then back at the sisters. Or he said slowly, "You 3 could stay and help me finish the renovations. I can't pay you much, but I'll cover food and you'll have a roof over your heads. The work will take about 6 more weeks." Sarah's eyes went wide. "You'd let us stay?" Michael shrugged. "You've already done more work than I expected to do in the first 2 weeks. Seems foolish to waste good help." That afternoon, they made a plan. Michael would drive up every weekend with supplies. During the week, the sisters would continue repairs and he'd guide them by phone. It wasn't a perfect arrangement, but it felt right. The weeks that followed changed everything. Sarah turned out to have a gift for carpentry. Rebecca knew everything about plumbing and electrical work from helping on their family farm. Jennifer had an eye for design and made the old house look warm and inviting with almost no money. Michael brought Emma up one weekend to see the progress. His daughter spent the whole day talking with the sisters about college and dreams and second chances. On the final weekend, when the house was finished and ready to sell, Michael sat on the porch with Sarah. A real estate agent was coming Monday morning. "We can't thank you enough," Sarah said. "This gave us time to save some money and find jobs in town. We'll be okay now." Michael had been thinking about this moment for days. "Actually, I have a different idea," he said. "What if, instead of selling this place I kept it, I could rent it to you three? You'd pay what you can afford and help maintain the property." Sarah stared at him. "But your daughter's tuition," Michael smiled. "Emma got a scholarship, a full ride. Found out last week. Turns out I don't need to sell after all." The truth was more complicated. Michael did need money, but watching these three young women work so hard and care so much about a place that wasn't even theirs reminded him why his wife had always pushed him to see beyond his own problems. Maria would have invited them to stay the first day. The least he could do was give them a chance. Now Sarah started crying. Rebecca and Jennifer came running. When they heard, Michael stood awkwardly as all three sisters hugged him. He wasn't used to gratitude this overwhelming. That was 8 months ago. Now, Michael drives to Meadowbrook every few weeks. The sisters run a small business making furniture from reclaimed barn wood. They've hired 2 other young people from town who needed work. Emma stops by whenever she's home from college. Last month, Sarah told Michael they wanted to buy the property from him eventually. "We'll pay fair market price," she promised. "We're saving up." Michael said he'd think about it, but honestly, he had already decided. Some things matter more than money. Some investments pay returns that don't show up in a bank account. His late wife knew that. Now Michael was finally learning it too. The old farmhouse at the end of Meadowbrook Road isn't abandoned anymore. It's full of life and laughter and the sound of saws cutting wood and dreams being built one board at a time. And sometimes on quiet Sunday mornings, Michael sits on that porch with his coffee and thinks about how close he came to calling the sheriff that first day. He's grateful every single day that he didn't, because the best decision he ever made wasn't buying that farmhouse. It was choosing kindness when he found 3 strangers living inside. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Today, subscribe for more stories about ordinary people making extraordinary choices, and comment below about a time when someone showed you unexpected kindness. I'd love to hear your story.